So our next topic is being free spiritually.
Spiritually.
This, and I want to say this, man, because I could feel in my spirit people already like tensing up when I say free spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because they are relating this to, oh, you're talking about choosing a God, or you're talking about being loose with religion. That's a closed-minded, archaic concept of what freedom is.
Absolutely.
Because, oh my God, there's so many levels of freedom when it comes to being free spiritually. And it takes the knowledge and application. You can't really tell me that you're a Christian and you don't believe in freedom as it relates to everyone, not just Christians, everyone. Okay, because God gave everyone the freedom to choose. Okay, it started in the beginning. You have the freedom to choose and you have the right to choose. And I had to say that because I feel like there's a lot of people still shackled by that mindset that it's only one. And I say that loosely, but freedom is a mindset, and that mindset is reality. And I hope people understand that. I hope and pray people understand that.
This is going to be a fun one here. Yeah. Spirituality just in totality can be a very touchy topic because people are very sensitive about their beliefs, which I understand. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because this can literally turn into its own thing. But I do want to kind of talk about it for a few minutes. I'll tell you what my picture of spiritual freedom looks like. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to wrap religion in this at all. For me, I'm not bringing religion in this because to me, true spirituality and true freedom is being free from everything, including the man-made thing called religion. So for my part of this conversation, I will not be talking about religion.
Okay.
I will be talking about relationship, right? So in order to be, and this is my opinion, in order to be spiritually free, you cannot tie yourself to anything. When you do that, you tend to pass judgment because you are still a physical, fleshly being. Just like, for example, when we started this portion of the segment, Dash felt the need to give a disclaimer. And he only felt the need to do that because, again, people are very judgy. And that's why I refuse to make this segment about religion. It's about relation. So let's talk about that. What is spirituality, first of all? I mean, I can pull the definition or we can give our own definitions.
No, yeah, go ahead, pull it up. Yeah, go ahead. Okay,
so let's see. Let's see whose definition we want to look at because everybody got their own definition.
Hope Merriam-Webster wasn't a Catholic.
I don't even know if Merriam-Webster has this word. Let's see. Come on, Merriam. Spirituality. Here we go. Merriam-Webster dictionary. Spirituality. The quality of or state of being spiritual, of course. Sensitivity or attachment to spiritual or religious beliefs. So now we're going to go to the root word spiritual, which is what I had up initially. So what is spiritual? Spiritual is relating to or consisting of affecting the spirit. It is a sacred practice. Another definition is related to or joined in spirit, which makes me, of course, go to the root word spirit. What does spirit mean? Spirit is an animating or vital principle held to give life physical organisms. Second definition, a spiritual or supernatural being, essence, some called Holy Ghost or Holy Spirit. A malevolent being that is bodiless but can become invisible. Ghosts. So there's a whole bunch of different definitions of spirit, spirituality, and spiritual.
Yeah.
All of them relating to one soul, one being joined.
Yep.
Which is why I'm not putting religion on this.
Yep.
So you said something earlier where you said essentially people can say, there's different gods or whatever, but essentially if God is everything, then God is all of that. But I'm not even going to go there because, like I said, that'll go over people's head. What I'm going to say when it comes to spiritual freedom, in my opinion, is being able to be free to express your love, your commitment, your understanding, and your experience of what you know as God or source, creator, being, whatever you want to call it, right? Mm-hmm. That's what true freedom is to me. It's without bounds, a direct connection between my spiritual being inside of my physical vessel, which we call the body, and the source which created all of this, including the things you do and don't believe in.
Yeah.
That's what spirituality means to me. Now, from a freedom standpoint, in order to be free, freedom means no judgment. Freedom means accountability. Freedom means understanding and understanding. I may not agree with what you say, but I understand why you say, and therefore I allow you to choose, just like God.
Yep.
So that, to me, that's kind of how I see spirituality. I don't agree with everything I see, just like people don't agree with everything I say.
Of course,
but I give you the option to operate how you see fit. I give you the power to choose. I'm not going to judge you because you're choosing differently.
Right.
So for those that are religious, I'm not going to judge you because you're choosing to practice your religion. God allows you to freely do that, like God allows me to freely choose not to attach myself to a religion.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's how I take that. It's supernatural. It's beyond this worldly mindset of a religion.
Yeah.
It's without bounds. When you put on a religion, you create bounds, and when you create bounds, there's not total freedom in bounds.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So yeah.
And, thinking about just the words in this section, talking about spirit, talking about spiritual freedom, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I like to play around with that a little bit. So we have, you hear the term free spirit all the time. Oh, yeah. Right? Spirit should be free. They're spirits.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
We're all spirits, okay? The word spiritual, and this is, I think we should probably talk about this maybe another time, but spiritual, I feel like it's two words. There's spirit and then there's ritual.
Whew.
Okay?
Now you're getting into etymology. Let's go.
So the spirit, if the spirit is free,
mm-hmm.
and we're attaching it to a ritual,
mm-hmm.
a ritual seems to be, I don't want to say an attachment.
It is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so join. It's to join.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
go ahead.
Yeah. I'm thinking this through here because the way that people don't separate it,
mm-hmm.
your ritual is sort of a separate identity, but it's the same as the one you connect to your spirit.
Mm-hmm.
There's something there. And maybe I just have to take this, and do some research.
So the way I'm taking that is like this. Like I said earlier, the spirit or spiritual is your direct connection to the all, which is the all-knowing, the all-being, the all-seeing, which we call it God, right? Mm-hmm. In order to connect with God, you do a ritual of some sort, whether that be calling out to God, praying to God, feeling or yearning for the presence of God, because sometimes you don't have to say, you're seeking out the connection. So what the ritual does is it ties the spirit with the God, therefore giving you spiritual. Yeah. That's what God just gave me. New news to me, like it's new news to you. Right. But it's an adjoining of the two, your physical spirit or your spirit with the spirit of all. The ritual is what joins you.
Yeah.
That's why it's a supernatural thing.
Yeah.
Because it's taking you somewhere beyond this.
Oh, yeah.
To a whole nother realm so that you can even be able to be in the midst of source, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. And I'm glad you said that, because I think that spiritual freedom, you can't be free without self-control. These seem like they battle, but they don't. They actually go hand in hand. Just because you have the ability to be free and do whatever you want, it doesn't mean you should.
Right.
And as it relates to spirituality, I think that's where some people blur the line. Mm-hmm. Is because the self-control you have to have in order to have your spirit be, I don't want to say cleansed, but in order for it to be thinking of a word here. In order for your spirit to be able to be connected to a higher power, you have to be in alignment.
Bingo.
And that alignment is, some people call them rules, some people whatever. You have to be in alignment with the standard. And one of the, that's one of the fruits of the spirit in the Bible is self-control. And I think that's probably, I won't say it's the biggest one, but as it states today, and in regards to freedom, I think that is right now the biggest one.
Okay. So I'll say this, and I hope it makes sense, because I was getting something while you were speaking. So we got people who walk around in the flesh, right? There's people that'll tell you that they walk around in the spirit all day. Not going to say that I do or don't believe that, but there are people that'll tell you that they are in the spirit all day. I think that self-control is a concept of a sort, because self-control is easy when you're connected. So, for example, if I'm spiritual, using the root of how we talked about that, spirit connecting with a ritual in order to reach God, right? If I'm spiritual, or I have the Holy Ghost, right, and I'm in spirit and I'm connected to the source, we're one. So everything that God, the source, is, as am I. There isn't a need for self-control, because I'm not going to want to do anything that is not for the greater good, because I am now linked to the all. Therefore, we're in alignment. So I'm going to only want good. There's nothing inside of me that'll be tempted to want to do anything outside of that, because I am connected to the everlasting good. So when we talk about self-control, that, in my opinion, stems from the fact that you're not always in the spirit, because if you were, you wouldn't need self-control, because you're already in control with the spirit. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So I think it's humorous when people say they walk around in the spirit all the time, but they're battling holding their tongue. You're not in the spirit if you have to hold your tongue, because you're not even having those thoughts, because you're connected directly to the source. But when you're outside of the source, those thoughts can flow in.
Oh yeah.
And then of course it's your free will to choose to either interact or react with that or not. That's when you find out whether or not you have self-control. But if you're in the spirit, you don't need self-control, because God is in control. God is in you. See what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I think more people should spend less time trying to convince people that they are always in the spirit, and just be truthful about what it is. Again, reasons I don't attach myself to religion. I have my own reasons for doing so. I've had a better experience of God, in my opinion, detaching from things that are made to, in some cultures, keep you in bounds. I'm not going to say that every religion does that, but some of them do. And it's a controlling aspect. And in my opinion, if you're trying to control, you are trying to play your own form of God. And that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in truly connecting with source. So if you're not connecting me with source, what's your purpose? If I can connect to the source without you, what is my purpose?
Yeah.
What is my purpose in coming to you or seeking you if I can just connect? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's just my take on it. In order to be spiritually free, you have to remove the bounds.
Yeah. And those bounds are, I just wrote down, systematic.
Yep.
Freedom is probably the opposite.
Absolutely.
Of systematic. You know, systematic, any system has its bounds. It has its territory.
Right.
And you only operate in the system. If you only operate in the system, you'll never be free. So, and we could talk about that. I mean, that's a whole other thing about the matrix and how if you're operating inside the matrix and you can't think outside the box is where the freedom is.
Right.
But it's scary outside the box because all you know is inside the box.
Exactly.
So that's why, I mean, and I can only say Christians. I mean, I'm just
I feel you
it out there. Christians didn't do, and when I was growing up, they didn't do a good job of realizing the freedom that God gives because they were too busy in a systematic church.
Bingo.
And they never got outside the box, which is the real spirituality that God gave.
Exactly.
Because I mean, that's why God said the body is the church.
Exactly. You are the church.
Not the building.
It's not a physical building. It's you. So if you believe in, religion or Christianity of whatever form, then you know that you're the church. Mm-hmm. It tells you that biblically that you are the church. You know this to be true, but you're still searching for the church. Why?
Right.
Look within. You're the church.
Yep.
But if you can't find it within, go to the church so they can help you find it. But you're the church.
Right.
And I mean, the same goes hand in hand with God. You're looking for God everywhere else. God is in you.
Yep.
Even if you don't claim God, God is still in you because God cannot be everything if God is not in everything.
Right.
Period.
Yep.
And I know people will say, God ain't in that mess. God is in everything. God can literally not be everything without being a part of everything. Whether you think it's good or bad, God is still in the midst of it because God is everything.
Yep.
That's the understanding that I believe people don't totally understand, because you'll hear people giving the devil so much credit. And I'm just like, are you kidding me right now? Do you not understand that God is even in the midst of that? Mm-hmm. Because how can God not be when God is everything?
Yep.
I almost said something, but I know y'all ain't ready for that. Yeah. I'm going to be quiet.
We don't see how he sees. We don't listen how he listens.
We don't even understand how it understands.
Yep. So your perception is not his plan. Trust me. Everybody brings, well, why would God allow bad things to happen to good people?
And here's my thing. Your perspective of good and bad is subjective to your ideologies of how this world works.
Yep.
It's bad to you. Does not necessarily mean that God sees it as a bad thing. Listen, this will start me to doing that thing that they call preaching. I'm not here to preach, okay? But I am here to help people understand, though.
Yeah.
You can't understand if you don't open your mind. And in order to understand, you kind of got to be out of your mind.
Right.
Because you're in a systematic mind right now.
Right.
They've told you how you're supposed to think, how you're supposed to see things.
Yep.
And anytime anything is outside of that, you're out of your mind. I've been out of my mind my whole life.
You just said something, and it brings me back to school. Anything, let's call it the box, okay? Some people call it the matrix. Let's call it the box. You were introduced to the box, okay, as soon as you went to school. Okay, so if the box is school, the opposite of that is freedom is homeschool. Let's just say, okay, there are some people who really only teach their children essentials, math, reading, their personal brand of history, okay, but they don't put them in the box of sit here. I'm going to teach you stuff that you don't need to learn. I'm going to cloud your judgment, and I'm going to give you a world view of history as we want to give it to you. Mm-hmm. That's why a lot of the history books today are just, I want to say, trash.
Absolutely.
God knows what's being passed around. I saw a picture of there was like a diagram. Well, no, there was a picture on the left side of the page of pyramids, and then on the right side there was like this Egyptian king, right? He had the headdress on and everything, but it was a white guy. right? And this is in the history books.
Of course.
So I'll just leave it at that. But it starts then. In order to really take our freedom back, because we didn't want to give it up. We didn't give it up consciously. It just happened. It was a system. It just happens. So how do we take back our freedom right now? What are your thoughts on that? How do we start undoing the damage?
Community.
So okay, that's dangerous because our community isn't free.
It starts in the community.
Yeah.
Our community isn't free because they don't know they need to be free. So again, community. Are you a part of the community?
Yep.
Am I a part of the community?
Mm-hmm.
Do we know that we ain't free?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then. So like I said, community. It's only dangerous if people that are doing the talking don't understand what's going on. You and I, we're a part of the community and we understand what's going on. The whole community as a whole does not. So it's our duty to get the community to see it first. We can't start creating solutions unless people know there's a problem. So that's why I said community. Yeah. Community starts with you and me. It starts right here with us bringing up the topics. After we bring up the topics, it's a matter of what are we going to do, though, from a physical standpoint to make a change. That means get out here in the community physically. That means hosting backpack giveaways and coat drives and food drives to get the name out there, to get people to come around so that you can talk about these things. And then when you talk about it, of course, people are going to give you their gripes. Mm-hmm. You need to be able to give them solutions. Okay, well, here's my gripe. My children don't have nowhere to go after school, so they be in the streets. Okay, let's create an after school program. Now that's not an issue. And what are we going to do in this after school program? Well, let's see. Let's talk about all the stuff we talked about earlier. Carpentry, welding, opening bank accounts, investing. We are the answer to our problems. It's us. So again, where do we start? Community.
Yeah. And right now, just imagining only a few people standing outside of that box when everybody in our community or more people in our community are inside. The effort to help lead people from inside the box to outside, because the power is in the numbers. All right. We're going to have funding. We're going to have support. We're going to have a lot of things, a lot of resources, and those resources can be manufactured. But to start, we have to start from within. You're right. And it's absolutely community. Man,
it's real, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what I know to be true. And I just really, really want to give a shout out to Fort Oak Cliff. I don't know if you know about that organization, but there's a great organization called Fort Oak Cliff in Dallas, Texas. And two guys that I went to college with, they actually founded and created that, Taylor and Xavier. And they did a really good job of building up the community. I watched them go from ground zero with that project. And now they just purchased a huge land. They got a rec on it, and they got a lot of activity space, and they are actually building a space for their community to come and spend time and learn it. That's what I mean. They're doing the pillars of what I've always seen. So that's what I mean when I say community. We have to be the life changers. We have to be the game changers. They're doing it in their community.
Right.
We can do it in ours too.
Yeah.
That's super inspiring. If you don't know these guys, please go check out Fort Oak Cliff. They have the YouTube page. They have a Facebook page. They probably got a YouTube page, but they definitely have a Facebook page. They're doing a lot of great things, and I think more communities would benefit from doing what they've done. And I think that if we come together from a regional standpoint, we can do something even more amazing. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine every community from the Grove to Oak Cliff to South Dallas to North Dallas, if all of these if everybody came together from a huge community standpoint, do y'all not understand the impact that would make from a social standpoint? That'll speak to the masses. That'll shake up some feathers. Some people will be scared.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing how we come together and how we're supporting each other. That is a huge, huge thing. And I think that more people should be doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
And I'm glad you brought those guys up, and definitely shout out to those guys for making an impact. And I know, it's tough starting out, but this is something that was birthed as an idea. That's a beautiful website, birthed as an idea, and now it has come to life. I think part of the kickoff of next season, we should gather causes like these, and we just spent a whole episode actually just bringing these things forward,
absolutely,
and introducing them.
That's the key. That's the goal here.
Yeah,
we want to get the word out. They've done an amazing, and when I say amazing, like that, I literally watched this blow up over the years. I watched them put in the work. I watched them build this, and I'm like, yo, these guys are on to something.
Yeah,
man, if more of us were doing that, how can we get the word out? How can we get more people to see it's doable? These guys are doing it. That's how I know it's doable.
Yeah,
we can do this, like I said, from a massive scale if we just come together. All it takes is two people that's for real. That was two guys that were for real.
Right.
And they did what needed to be done. And now it's a whole thing. I mean, they got a tab on here, community building, community events, farmers markets, Juneteenth, back to school fest, yoga in the hood. Like, I'm just saying. And look at, you got pictures of them doing stuff with the kids. They giving back. I mean, you can sign up to be a volunteer. They got an education tab. You can book an event. I mean, that's awesome. What more can you ask for? So when I say it starts with community, this is what I mean.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I mean.
This is awesome. And we're talking about freedom, but this is a reality.
Yeah.
Things are happening. Great things are happening. We got to get out there. Don't feel like, oh, somebody else got it.
No, we need more. It takes a village, guys. These guys have done the legwork. They have inspired. I mean, they have inspired me in ways that they don't even understand. So I am very, very interested in making these types of moves. And like I said, getting together with different communities and creating big events. I mean, whatever it takes to get the word out there, whatever it takes to build opportunities or create opportunities for these kids. Because again, we can't expect our kids to have a better future if we're not providing them with options for a better future. So shout out to those guys, and shout out to anybody like them that's doing that. I mean, it's bigger than us, for real.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And I mean, this is pretty much the close. I mean, we had socially on there, but
I mean, that's it. That just took it. I mean, socially, it all plays into us being vocal about what we got going on. I mean, we can all create business opportunities and avenues, but if we're not out here talking about it and connecting and partnering and networking, we're going to be at a standstill. I think this is a very pivotal time to really get the ball rolling on a lot of ideas that people got when it comes to community work and educating our culture and putting us in better positions. I think there is no better time than right now to get that rolling. So yeah, I'm very excited about what's coming up, man.
Oh man, me too. So yeah, I mean, shoot, this is the Flight Podcast, and we're on the runway, ready to take off.
Absolutely.
Because I mean, I never like to label things or put a date on things to say, oh, 2023 is the year that whatever. We're starting where we are, and we're headed to where we're going. And our destination is already there. We're just going to have to get there.
Right.
And that's no sweat. I mean, that's the easiest part. The journey is great. And that's the part that we're going to enjoy. I mean, like I said, we've talked about public speaking at an auditorium, on a live panel,
right?
And having people ask us questions. I can see that so clear in my mind.
I mean, as soon as you said it, I saw it plain as day.
The velvet red backdrop.
So we had the same vision. I literally saw it plain as day. Yeah. So, like we said earlier, that's how you get to it. We both just had the same vision of us doing a thing. That thing exists. So now it's a matter of us making sure that we're aligned with purpose, so that we can walk into that destiny that's already out there.
Absolutely.
So,
and we would love to see you there. So until then, this is the Flight Podcast.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm Dash in Dallas.
And this is T, also known as Me See Me.
All right. And, you know, until next time, guys, you know, be free. You know, decide to be free.
Absolutely.
First.
Yeah.
And then you'll get there.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll meet you there. All right. So
All right.
peace.
Later.